ever since you said hello to me. She's innocent. Don't scare her, he chanted to himself as he fought the urge to throw her on the table and pound into her pussy like a maniac. Don't scare her. Nah, that's cool, he said stupidly and cringed at how his voice almost cracked. Then she smiled and did it again. Her lips pressed into his with a sweet clumsiness, and Darby found himself falling for her. After that, in the following weeks after their tutoring session was over, he found himself exchanging chaste kisses with her, and never going past first base for fear of scaring her. Darby found out quickly that being a goddamn gentleman was really fucking hard. Now, here he was, waiting to surprise her because she'd hinted at wanting to go to the prom, and Darby was about to break his cardinal rule of going solo to a dance just to make her happy. He couldn't wait to see the look on her face when he asked her. His best friend, Ginger, said he was crazy and insisted that he didn't know the real Mariah, but he figured she was just a little jealous, because he hadn't been spending as much time with her as she'd like. As students filed out of the double doors, he waited, hidden by the stairwell, until he heard his name mentioned by a boy. The voice belonged to Lance Lewis, and he was talking to Mariah. Darby's fingers clenched as he remembered what the spoiled little asshole had done to Ginger last spring. "Looks like you got Sullivan eating out of the palm of your hand as planned, Mariah. You're certain he'll go for it?" What the hell? Darby's heart started beating erratically in his chest as he heard a girl's jeering laugh. Then he heard Mariah's voice, only now it wasn't as baby soft as it was when she was with him. It was grown-ass woman confident. "Darby Sullivan is like putty in my hands, baby. He's so inexperienced. Hell, sometimes I feel like I'm with my kid brother. Why, he barely knows how to kiss. I will get him to take me to prom, and when I do, you owe me a pair of Charles David heels. They'll look so good on me when I'm riding you with nothing else on, lover." Quietly, Darby stood up, and his height enabled him to see Lance, Mariah, and their friends from the football team and cheerleading squad gathered around them as they talked shit about him. "I can't believe you got him trained like that," another girl added, enviously. "Aren't you scared he might try to hurt you or something? All that dirty blood running through him?" "Nah, he's not like that. He's more like that big stupid ape in that movie, you know?" Mariah snapped her fingers as she tossed her hair over her shoulder and her eyes danced with spite. "He's like King Kong. That's it, a big old stupid monkey." Their mean laughter filled the air as Lance picked Mariah up and carried her over his shoulder, attempting to reenact King Kong carrying actress Fay Wray. The group continued to talk shit about Darby, and someone mentioned that he might possibly be gay. A slow, cold rage filled Darby as he looked at the pink rose that was now crushed in his large fist. He should have known better. The nice girls weren't for him. Ginger had been right about Mariah, and he had turned his back on her for what he thought was a promising relationship. Except Mariah was not a nice girl, and it was time everyone knew. Lance Davis was pissed that he'd thrown 3 interceptions during tonight's game. His old man was going to be all over his ass tonight at dinner. Now Mariah had gone and disappeared, which really ticked him off because he was looking for her to blow him before he had to go home and hear his father shit. Lance sulked as he and his friends walked through the school parking lot to what was considered the rich kids section. The only thing that brought him an inkling of joy right now was how Mariah planned to humiliate that baboon Darby in front of everyone for him. Lance could vividly recall Sullivan beating the shit out of him last year over that little bitch Ginger. He would never admit it out loud, but he was scared shitless of the big bastard, and had been secretly plotting revenge, trying to think of the best way possible to humiliate Darby without him knowing that he, Lance, was behind it. When he saw the way Darby's eyes followed Mariah in Spanish class, he knew he'd found his weakness. So Lance bribed Mariah with a new Coach bag and a pair of Charles David shoes to seduce Darby into falling for her. The Davises were one of the wealthiest families in Whiskey Row, and Mariah's father worked for his family. Mr. and Mrs. Devereaux were a pair of social climbing parasites who thought Lance would be their meal ticket to the Miramar Country Club. He let them think that while he fucked their daughter, and Mariah acted like butter wouldn't melt in her mouth. His friends kept talking and laughing as they got closer to their section of the parking lot, when they suddenly heard a high-pitched keening sound. "What the fuck was that?" one of his teammates asked, looking around nervously. But Lance ignored him as he heard a familiar voice shriek, "Oh, yes, fuck me harder!" A chill slithered down his spine as he ran around the corner with his friends, hot on his heels, and an even larger crowd behind them coming to see what the commotion was all about. What Lance saw stopped him cold in his tracks. Mariah, bracing herself against the hood of his Ferrari, was getting fucked, doggy style, by Darby Sullivan. "You like that, Mariah?" Darby inquired coolly while he jackhammered into her, and Mariah moaned again as she greedily backed.